The best way that you can improve your relationships is to start with the one with yourself. Cheesy as that sounds, how we feel about ourselves has such a huge impact on how we relate to others and how we get on within those individual relationships. So whether or not it's an intimate relationship, a family relationship, friendship, a relationship with your children or work colleagues or whatever, how you value yourself will go a long way in bearing how that relationship plays out. We are all mirrors. We mirror each other in lots of different ways, and our energy and how we, ultimately what we think we deserve and what we think we are worth will play out in absolutely every single relationship that you have. So I'm going to give you four tips, if you like, to improving all of those relationships. And the first one is about how you feel, what you want those relationships to look like. What do you think is important to have in any of these relationships? What matters to you? How do you want to be treated? How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be valued? Yeah, remembering all of this starts with you, because until we know what we want from our relationships, we can't start to put it in motion. We can't have what we don't know. We can ballpark and we can bump along, but until we become really clear about what we actually want from our relationships, we can't have it. Okay, so that's the first thing, is to be really clear about what you want your relationships to look like. Then I want you to have a think about how you want your relationships to make you feel. And this is really important, because this is about our own emotional boundaries and what we feel are what are safe boundaries. And I don't mean that in terms of like danger, but I mean safe boundaries in terms of what makes us feel good. What makes us feel good? What doesn't make us feel good? What makes us feel icky? What makes us feel vulnerable? Because I think we can very easily sacrifice our own wishes, desires, boundaries to make other people happy. But actually knowing what our boundaries are and knowing what makes us feel good and what doesn't make us feel good is a really, really, really important part of having healthy relationships. So get really clear on how you want your relationships to make you feel. Then I want you to understand about how you feel about yourself, okay? Because when we know how we feel about ourselves, then we are much better able to put those boundaries in place. And so often when I'm working with clients, they are really good at prioritizing everybody else's happiness, because it makes them feel better. It makes them feel better because they don't value their own happiness. They value everybody else's happiness, and they get their validation, if you like, by making other people happy. Now that's not a bad thing. Don't misunderstand me. Like, we all want to make other people happy. Well, most of us want to make other people happy. I desperately want to make other people happy, especially if it comes to my friends, especially if it comes to my children, my husband, my loved ones, absolutely. But also knowing that I do that because I want to, not because I validate myself in that way. So understanding yourself and understanding what makes you tick. Again, it comes down to boundaries. It comes back to how much you feel you are worthy, how much you feel you deserve, and just making sure that there's a really healthy balance there. Because ultimately, if you don't love and value yourself, then it's going to be very difficult to have others love and value you too. And that's why having really healthy boundaries is really important, because when we have clear boundaries about what we want and what we want and what we don't want, then other people also know what we want and what we don't want. So like I said at the beginning, like, relationships are a mirror. So we have to be really clear in ourselves about what we want, what we need, what we don't want, how we get our validation, how we feel worthy, how we feel loved, in order to be able to hold that space for ourselves, but also hold that space for other people, so that they can follow the same rules for us as well. And then the fourth thing is to seek out healthy relationships. If you are lacking for whatever reason in having people that make you feel good about yourself, go out and find them. Do the things that make you feel good, and seek out the people that either make you feel good too, or that you can do things together. So that might be joining, finding like-minded people, joining exercise classes, joining a running club, hanging out in like-minded groups on social media if you find it difficult to get out, being around people who inspire you and who you feel lit up by, is so important. Absolutely so important to find your tribe, essentially. And you know, that helps us to feel more loved, more valued, more appreciated. We can't expect other people to love and value us if we don't love and value ourselves first. So treat yourself the way that you want to be treated, and hang out with people who make you feel good, and set the tone for the relationships that you want by treating yourself the way that is right for you. If you want others to treat you with respect, you have to start by treating yourself with respect. If you want to be seen as a strong, independent woman, then act like a strong, independent, embody being a strong, independent woman. If you want people to treat you with good emotional boundaries, make sure you have good emotional boundaries. And if you want to be treated with value and respect, then make sure you value and respect yourself. Okay, catch up with you soon.